Hi there, this is Mar Haddad here again. So as we are now on RouterOS version 7, so the new version is already there, then I have decided to add on the course of the VLANs the new feature that is available on the RouterOS version 7, which is VXLAN. So what is VXLAN and where we can use it, and what is the difference between VXLAN and the normal VLAN? That's something I'm going to explain in this lecture, and I'm going to do a lab to show you how you can benefit from using VXLAN, especially for ISPs who are providing internet to customers, because this can be an add-on feature that you can provide to your customers. So let's go directly to the explanation, and then it will be followed by a lab. So what is VXLAN? First of all, we have to remember that the VXLAN is available on RouterOS version 7. So if you want to use this feature, then you should have RouterOS version 7 on the one where you want to implement the VXLAN. So VXLAN means Virtual Extensible Local Area Network. So we know VLAN is Virtual Local Area Network. VXLAN is Virtual Extensible Local Area Network. So what it does, it creates layer 2 overlay scheme on layer 3 network, and the protocol runs over UDP. What does it mean here? If we go now to the second slide, so I can explain to you right away what does it mean exactly. So say that we are an ISP, so this is our core network. So what you see here in the green, that's the core network of the ISP. I'm running inside this ISP, for example, OSPF, which is the routing protocol, well known for interior router protocol. Most of ISP use it inside their network. Of course, the OSPF will be running on router 1, router 2, router 3, so forget about the cloud over here, because that's the internet. So we are running OSPF over here. That means we have layer 3, right? Because OSPF works on, it's a router protocol, it works on layer 3. So we have layer 3. So what we can do, say that we have a customer which is a bank. It has a headquarter in one city, and it has also branch office in another city, and both of them, they are connected to our network, to our ISP. You can see they are connected to router 2 and router 3 over here. So what we can offer for them, we can give them layer 2 connectivity. So that means that the company, which is the bank actually, what they will see is something like they are connected to a switch, you have to think. So our core network becomes like a layer 2. So then in this case, if for example, those users who are over here, they want to print something on the printer which is on the headquarter over here, so they can do, it's like layer 2 connectivity. So you share the broadcast domain between those two customers. So it's like one broadcast domain for the two customers, and all of this is happening over our layer 3. So it's seamless for the customer. And in case, for example, this bank has another branch office opening somewhere else, you can also do the same. You can put it on the VXLAN, and then you can provide layer 2 connectivity. In case you have other customers, like another bank or another hospital or another whatever different type of customers, you can also provide them layer 2 connectivity. So this is the main idea of the VXLAN. So it's something similar to, if you are familiar with the MPLS, VPLS. So normally you know that VPLS run also layer 2 over the layer 3 as well, or something similar to EOIP as well. So EOIP can do the same. So VXLAN is having the same actually idea, that you can run layer 2 over the layer 3 to provide to your customers like end-to-end connectivity. So they are like really connected to each other. They are using our network to go from one side to another. So what you can do with the VXLAN, you are creating tunnels. So for each customer, say you have bank A, bank B, bank C. So each of those customers, they have something like a tunnel inside our layer 3 to be able to have layer 2. So this is the whole idea of the VXLAN. Let's go back here to get more information about the VXLAN. So again, remember that it creates layer 2 overlay scheme on layer 3 network, like I have explained, and the protocol run over UDP. So it will run over UDP, and I will show you in a moment what is the port that it uses. Now, VXLAN is a tunneling protocol designed to solve the problem of limited VLAN IDs. You know, on VLANs, we can go up to 4095 actually VLANs, while on the VXLAN, which is based on the RFC 7348, you can go up to, let's count them. So this is 1000, this is million. So that's something, I think 16,777,216 you can create a VXLAN. So you can see you have much more than 4096 that was available on the VLAN. And that's because the VXLAN, if you look on inside its header, you will see that it has the identifier size, it's 24 bits. So you can see that if you look inside it, you see that one, it has 24 bit. All right. So that's also important to remember, that it will solve the problem with the shortage of the VLAN that you can create. Now, two important things to know about the VXLAN when we are going to do the configuration. So you have something called VNI and you have VTAP. So those two terms you have to know what are exactly. VNI is VLAN network identifier. So when you say VNI, it's the network identifier. So it's like the VLAN ID when we were talking about VLANs. So on the VLANs, we have the VLAN ID, which we can put it, for example, VLAN 100, VLAN 200, something like that. On VXLAN, we have VNI. So also you can put 100, 200 or whatever. That's the first thing. The second thing is the VTAP, which is the VXLAN tunnel endpoint. So VTAP is once you want to do, for example, between the headquarters and the branch office, you want to do this communication so they can form the tunnel together, then you have to use the VTAP to say that the other side is going to be that IP address. So you put the IP address of the branch office on the other side, and also the branch office has to put the VTAP, which is the remote address, which is the headquarters in this case. That's something I'm going to show it to you when we are going to do the lab. So in a brief, VXLAN is the VLAN is the virtual extensible local area network. It has a mission to provide for you layer 2 connectivity over layer 3. This is something very important to be used by ISPs. So what you can do, you put for, if you are running, for example, OSPF inside your core network, or BGP, or even static routes, that's not important, but you have routing inside your core network, then you put a router from that side for your customer and a router from that side for the same customer, so which are two different offices connected to your network. You create the VXLAN, you connect the VXLAN, you make a bridge, you will see how we can do that, then you provide layer 2 connectivity to your customer. So this is the whole idea of the VXLAN. Let's go now and start doing the lab. So this is my lab. I just want to show you right away what I have already in my lab. In my lab, I do have already OSPF running. So I run OSPF on router 1, router 2, router 3. There is routing inside here. The router 1 is providing default route to router 2 and router 3 so they can go to the internet. So all of those, they have internet. Now, say that you have a customer which is headquartered here and branch office, so it's the same customer that we also want to connect them to a layer 2. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to this interface, put an IP on it, and then make the HTTP. So then what do we need to do? We just have to enable the HTTP client on this router, and then in this case, this router should be able to go to the internet. Then I will do the same from this side. This router, I will enable the HTTP client on this interface, and then it's able to go to the internet. So it's the same thing that when you provide internet to your customers. Now, after I do that, of course, we have to do here NAT. So over here and over here, I have to create NAT. So this computers can go to the internet. So for here, there is nothing we do with the VXLAN. Now the VXLAN will start. So I'm going to create VXLAN on this router. And I'm going to create VXLAN on this router. I'm going to use the VNI, which is the identifier. We can take any number, so say 100. So here I put VNI 100. And here I put VNI 100. It should be the same identifier. Now, once we do that, I have to do the VTAP, as I said. So it's the endpoint. I have to say for this headquarter, my endpoint, the remote endpoint, is this IP, which is on this branch. And this branch has to say that the remote IP is this one. Then in this case, what's going to happen? The VXLAN would create here like a tunnel. So once the tunnel has been created, I will take the VXLAN interface that was created over here and I bridge it with Ethernet 2. So I will just bridge it together with Ethernet 2, and also I will do the same here. So I will take the VXLAN and I will bridge it with Ethernet 2. So in this case, you have to think it's like we are now connected to a switch. So this computer and this computer, they are really like connected to a switch. And then I'm going to see if they can see each other. So we'll see how we can make the test to see if they can see each other as on layer 2. Now, something to remember, that the headquarter router and the branch office router should run the RouterOS version 7. So here you should have the version 7 running. Over here you should have the version 7 running. I have made here the core network that I have here. I made it on version 6. Just I wanted to show you that even if you run version 6 over here, RouterOS version 6, that's not a problem. All you need here is to have routing. So even if you run non-MikroTik product here, like Cisco or Juniper or whatever, you're running over here on your core network, you only have layer 3 connectivity, then the VXLAN will work. So what is important is what you do over here on this headquarter router and on this branch office router. So some people would say, but yeah, we are doing this VXLAN at the customer side, so maybe they can change the configuration. That's true. That's why if you want to put this router for your customer, be sure that that you lock the password, you don't give them the password so they don't do changes on the configuration. Otherwise, what you can do, instead of putting the router for your customer, you can put those routers in your network. So just put it on your network and then do the VXLAN and then provide them layer 2 directly to your customer. That's also an option you can do. So it depends on how you want to do the model. So both of the cases can work. Enough of theory. I'm looking now to the time. It's already 12 minutes. So I would stop now for the video here. And then in the upcoming video, I will do the lab to show you how we can configure the VXLAN.